Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about the seventh chord. I'm sure that you've seen in music that you've looked at in the past that there are some chords that just have a single letter name like A or B or C or whatever the case is, and then there are other chords that have a number after them. In this case, we're going to look at the chord that has a number after it, and that number is the 7. If you see a chord that just says A, that means that chord would be a 3-note chord. If it says A, D, C, G, E, all of those chords would just be 3 different notes. Let's take an example of the A major chord. If I just name each of the notes that are in this chord, I'll play through them. I'm playing 5 different notes in this case, and they are A, E, A, C sharp, and E. Again, A, E, A, C sharp, and E. Now, as you can see, there are notes duplicated. So in this case, I have 2 A's, and I have 2 E's, and I have 1 C sharp. So I'm only playing 3 different notes, but those 3 notes are being spread out into different octaves. There's some high A's and some low A's, or whatever the case might be. Let's try a different chord. Let's try C chord. So with a C chord, the notes in my C chord here, I'm also playing 5 notes. They are C, E, G, C, E. In that chord, I have 2 C's, 2 E's, and 1 G. Same thing applies. Or let's try a G chord with this voicing of G chord. In this case, if I name all the 6 notes that I'm playing G, B, D, G, D, G. So I have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 G's, and I have 2 D's and 1 lonely B. Right? So, but again, even though I'm articulating, striking, attacking 6 different notes, I only have 3 different notes that are actually in the chord. So those chords are called triads. The same thing holds true for minor chords. If it says minor after the chord, that means there's just 3 notes in that chord. But today we wanted to look at 7th chords. So what's the difference between a triad and a 7th chord? A 7th chord has 4 notes in the chord. Count them: 1, 2, 3, 4. And those notes are again, they come out of a scale. So let's look at, for instance, an E7 chord, and I'll name the notes in that E7 chord. So in an E7 chord, in this specific voicing of an E7 chord that I have here, my notes are E, B, D, G sharp, B, and E. So again, E, B, D, G sharp, B, and E. So there are 4 different notes in this chord. And 7th chords, because there are 4 different notes in a 7th chord, they're slightly more complex in sound than a triad would be, than a 3-note chord would be. They're a little more, they've got a little bit more interest, a little bit more bite, a little bit more complexity. So there are 4 notes in a 7 chord. If I just played only the separate notes of a 7th chord, for instance, of the E7 chord, they would be E, G sharp, B, and D. That's a little arpeggio or a broken chord. Those are the notes just played in the order that they would take place in the scale in an E7 chord. So once again, in a 7 chord has only has 4 different notes, where a triad has only 3 different notes.